Hello, we're going to spend a few minutes talking about the syllabus for the course GM543. That's the Managerial Economics or Economics for Managers course. There's two required textbooks for the class. The first one is the regular textbook, Managerial Economics, a Problem-Solving Approach, the 5th edition by Frobe. And then New Ideas from Dead Economists is a readings text. And that's also required for the class. Is going to be discussion questions many weeks from the New Ideas from Dead Economists, and there's one theory assignment from the New Ideas from Dead Economists as well. All right, I also want to just kind of remind you that if you need to contact me, please use your Franklin Pierce email account and email me directly from that to my Franklin Pierce email account. I will not be responding to Canvas inbox communications. I will be sending Canvas inbox communications to students as a group basis only. And if you need to respond to me on that, please respond back from your Franklin Pierce email to my Franklin Pierce email. And that is basically by school policy. Canvas inbox is really not an email server, and I really can't keep track of things properly that way. Therefore, that's why I require that correspondence be through regular Franklin Pierce email. So what's required for the class? Threaded discussion for almost every week except for the last one is worth 30% of the overall grade. The stock game is due week number 11. There's a separate video entirely on the stock game. That's worth 30% of your grade. The theory assignments, there's going to be theory assignments in weeks numbers 1 through 9. That's worth 35% of the grade. Most of those are going to be written papers. One of the theory assignments is some problems from the textbook, but the other ones are pretty much written papers. And then the module paper is due in week number 12, and that is worth 5% of the grade. Grading is going to basically follow the standard Franklin Pierce MBA grading format. Threaded discussion. So each unit every week online each unit is actually online. Is going to have 2 threaded discussion questions, except for the last one. Most of the units are going to have 1 general threaded discussion question and 1 threaded discussion question from the weekly reading from New Ideas from Dead Economists. So when it's a regular threaded discussion question, you need to post your initial discussion response by Wednesday night, Sunday for week number 1. If it's the New Ideas from Dead Economists discussion question, you will need to post your initial post by Thursday night for that one. All threaded discussion except for week number 1 ends on Saturday night. Week number 1, all threaded discussion deadlines is on Sunday night. All right, so be sure, and what you want to do is when you're doing your initial post, for regular threaded discussion, you want to research that post. You want to make a good, complete, thorough post. You want to use good grammar, good spelling. You want to make that easy on the eyes. If you have several paragraphs, several ideas, you want to break that up into a couple of different paragraphs, maybe bullets, things like that. I suggest headers also for all of your threaded discussion items. Every week's threaded discussion. You don't really need that for the New Ideas from Dead Economists, but for the general threaded discussion. Let's see. So again, you need to post a total of 3 to 4 posts per discussion question per week. So again, initial post is due on Wednesday for the normal discussion, Thursday for the philosopher discussion. Then you need to respond to a couple of your peers, probably 2 or 3 of your peers, by Saturday night. Sunday night again is the deadline for week number 1 only. Right? Generally, the best grade you're going to get is a 96 on any of the threaded discussion, because no threaded discussion is basically going to be perfect. Right? I will make note that if you post only late on Wednesday or late on Thursday for threaded discussion and late on Saturday, is going to, and I should break this to Saturday, is going to mean that you'll get not better than a B grade, because basically you're doing just the minimum amount of work. It's just satisfactory, but it's not considered to be excellent. Right? You don't have to post on 3 different days. You can just post on 2 days, but you do need to post on 2 different days for both the regular discussion and on the New Ideas from Dead Economists discussion questions. So in every post that you have should add value to discussion. Right? Again, for your regular discussion, you want to probably research the initial post and cite that research, incorporate that research into your post. You don't need to do any outside research on the New Ideas from Dead Economists threaded discussion. However, under that new ideas from Dead Economist threaded discussion, you are going to need to use at least one quote directly from that text reading, preferably a couple of them, using quotation marks and citing the page number to support your answer to the question. No outside research is required, or no outside research is even suggested for the new ideas from Dead Economist threaded discussion. Also, there is one of the theory assignments is going to come from that new ideas from Dead Economist textbook. All right, again, there's a separate video just on the stock game that's going to kind of explain how you're going to pick what the stock game is comprised of, what's expected of you, where do you go, the website, things like that. All right, so I encourage you to watch that video as well. There's going to be some instructions also on the shelf for that as well. So your theory assignments. Each week from 1 through 9 is going to have a theory assignment. You're probably going to include having to do some research on that theory assignment. You're going to have to use good grammar, good spelling, well written. Part of your grade is going to be based on having a MBA level writing performance. People will lose points for things like homonyms, writing incorrectly, TO, TOO, or TWO, for example, or THERE or THEIR for there or there. I find that often. Also find people make a lot of errors for the difference between plurals and possessives, so I will take off points if you're talking about a company's portfolio and it's a single company, it's COMPANY''S. If you're talking about there are multiple companies in my area, that's COMPANIES. So again, plural versus possessive is very, very important as well. Module paper. Module paper is pretty much standard module paper. It's going to have 3 sections in it, and what it's going to try to do is going to try to connect what you learned in this class and how you're going to apply this class to what your foundation paper is. Now, if you haven't done your foundation paper for whatever reason, you want to clearly explain that in your module paper, because I won't know that otherwise. It's going to be more difficult for you to write the module paper, but you still have to write a module paper for each class. So the first section of your module paper is what have you learned in the class, briefly summarize the course, what are the essential elements you derive from the course. Remember, this part is only about what you learned from the class. It's a good chance to actually summarize what you picked up in the class, because over the 12-week period, people tend to forget all the different things that we've talked about. This is not going to be a numbers type of managerial economics class. It's going to be more like applying the concepts. So most people find it very interesting. Things like the new ideas from Dead Economists, you're going to see people writing from the 1800s, and their economic views still very much a part of the way we think today. The second part is going to be how is this relevant to your workplace or other activities? Can you apply any of the course learning to your life? That would include your hobbies, your job, saving for retirement, things like that. Do you see any areas you might be able to apply course learning to immediate future? And the third section, finally, how does a new learning apply to your strategy or your foundation paper? How does the course learning fit in with your basics? So you want to refer back to your foundation paper strategic plan. So how does this class fit in? Maybe it's just that this class was required for you to get your MBA, and other than that, you don't really have any specific use for the class. But hopefully you're going to find that there are other things like the stock market, for example, that you're going to learn about that you can use as well from this class. Do you need to reevaluate your original plan as defined in your foundation paper based on the class or anything that happened over the last 12 weeks? Maybe you got a job promotion, maybe you changed jobs, for example, and your foundation paper goals need to be changed. Does the course material help you to move forward towards your final goal? Now, there's also, if you can use anything that you apply from the class to your job, you want to include those as a portfolio artifact as well. All right. Now I just want to kind of go over really quickly what the course shell looks like. So the course shell, so this is the course shell here for module number 1, and I'm going to add a section on here for the Screenomatic for the syllabus, and a little bit about the project as well. But every module is going to have basically some summary notes, and those summary notes are going to include some examples as well. It's also going to have the PowerPoint presentations from the books for each different chapter, any video resource I have available. Now, the first module, there's going to be a separate section on the stock game, so tell you what the stock game requirements are. Every module is going to have, from 1 through 9, it's going to have a section on explaining what the homework is for that first week, or for that week, I should say. Homework is due on Sunday night, every week for Sunday night. Threaded discussion is going to close again on Saturday night, except for week number 1. Please watch the dates on the calendar. The date on the calendar for the homework is the day the homework is due. The date on the calendar for threaded discussion is the day that the initial post is due. Right? So again, you have 2 threaded discussion questions for week number 1, introductions, and then directed donations. Again, you want to do a total of 3 to 4, maybe an occasional 5th post for the threaded discussions. Any more than that, basically, you're going to lose points for excessive posts. You don't want to post anything like "great post," "I like what you said," "I agree," anything like that. Everything you want to post is going to add value to the threaded discussion. Right? So again, this is module number 2, is pretty much similar to what was required for module number 1. And module number 2, you're going to see we actually have 2 types of threaded discussion questions than that one. And that one you're going to see we have one on incentive pay. That's the regular threaded discussion. The first post is due on March 10th, which is a Wednesday. The second threaded discussion question is the one from New Ideas from Dead Economists. And because that's from the New Ideas from Dead Economists, you need to post your initial post by Thursday night on that one. All right. Again, threaded discussion is going to close on Saturday night for each type of threaded discussion question. All right. So pretty much this is the way things are going to go every single week. When you turn in your homework needs to be dropped into the specific Dropbox. I won't accept that via email. It has to be dropped into the Dropbox, and it has to be either in Word or Excel format, preferably in Word format. And again, everything should be well written, good grammar, good spelling, good mechanics. All right. So you'll see again, module number 4 here. I have a regular discussion question. Initial post is due on Wednesday, and a New Ideas from Dead Economists. Initial post is due on Thursday on that. And that pretty much follows the same format right through until we get into week number 10. Now, week number 10, we've ended with our New Ideas from Dead Economists threaded discussion. So you have 2 regular threaded discussion questions, and since they're just regular threaded discussion, the initial post on both of those is due on Wednesday night. All right, on Thursday, week number 11, again, we have the stock project is due. Now, pay attention to the due date on that one. The stock project is actually due on a Friday. Week number 11, we have 2 discussion questions. They're regular general threaded discussions, so the initial post is due on Wednesday. And finally, in week number 12, we have just the module paper, no threaded discussion, no assignment, nothing else. But keep in mind the due date for the module paper. All right, so if I go back to my syllabus, and again, my due dates are all in my syllabus as well. The module paper is due on Wednesday, so that's a short week basically. Because the grades are due for me for that week. Right? Late assignments. I don't accept late assignments. If something specific or truly extenuating circumstance happens, email me, submit your assignment late, write in the comments box why your assignment is late, and I will evaluate that and decide whether it should be accepted. If you're somebody who just submits assignments late all the time, you thought you submitted it, you didn't submit it, you won't get any credit for it. I won't be accepted. As far as discussion posts, if you post discussion after the end of the discussion period, that's after Saturday night for any unit, after unit number 2, or after Sunday night for unit number 1, you will get no credit because it basically is no longer threaded discussion, because I'm the only person that's going to read that threaded discussion. All right, hopefully that was helpful to you. Have a great week. Thank you.